Welcome back to the deep dive. This is your AI brief, episode 370, and we have a really fascinating stack of material for you today. I'm your host, ready to get into it.
It's great to be here. The pace right now is just incredible, so we're here to connect the dots for you.
That's right. And today we're focusing on two main things. First, there's a new leader in the open source world, Z.ai's GLM-4.7, which is just crushing coding benchmarks.
And second, we have these three really critical predictions from the CEOs of OpenAI, NVIDIA, and Google. And what's interesting is how they all point to this massive shift coming around 2026.
Absolutely. Our mission here is to give you that shortcut to understanding what this all means. So after we hit those big updates, we'll do a quick run through of everything else in the news.
And we'll finish up with a list of the top AI tools you should probably be experimenting with right now. So let's just jump right into the core news.
Okay, let's start with today's new W updates because, wow, the biggest headline is coming out of the East. Z.ai, a major Chinese startup, just dropped GLM 4.7.
And this isn't just another model. It's laser focused on coding, and it's dominating the open source benchmarks.
The timing is also really important here, right? This landed just before their big Hong Kong IPO.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the tech for a second, because the achievement is centered on something called SWE Bench.
Right, and we should probably break that down. This isn't just about, writing a simple little function.
Not at all. SWE Bench tests a model's ability to act like a real software engineer. We're talking about diagnosing and fixing really complex bugs in actual GitHub projects.
So it has to read thousands of lines of code, understand how different files connect.
All of that. It's a genuine test of reasoning. And the number you need to remember is 73.8%.
73.8. That's what GLM 4.7 hit.
Yes. And that makes Z.ai the very first Chinese lab to break that 70% barrier on this kind of real-world metric. I mean, historically, models really struggled to even get past 50%.
So achieving 73.8% means this model can solve problems that were previously only solvable by pretty experienced human developers.
And it's not a one-off win. Our sources show it's surpassing DeepSeek, Kimi K2, and even some really strong models like Claude Sonnet 4.5.
So it's a powerful statement right out of the gate.
And the accessibility part is key for you, the listener. They've open-sourced the weights on Hugging Face.
Which means you can grab it and start experimenting with it today.
And you can use it with coding agents you already have, like Claude Code. It just speeds up that global cycle of innovation.
Then you add in the financial context. This is an Alibaba-backed company. They just cleared their Hong Kong IPO hearings.
And they're expecting to raise, what, around $300 million next month.
Right. So that huge injection of cash combined with this proven technical skill, it just fundamentally changes the landscape, doesn't it?
It does. This is why we have to see this as global competition. China is now releasing these hyper-competitive open-source models so quickly.
So you combine that speed with all that capital and better access to advanced chips.
And suddenly, 2026 looks like the year a Chinese open-source model could actually catch, or maybe even temporarily surpass, what OpenAI or Google are doing. It just forces everyone to move faster.
That is a profound shift. And speaking of moving faster, let's zoom out to the message coming from the CEOs of OpenAI, NVIDIA, and Google.
It's a unified message. They're all pointing to this fundamental change in how knowledge work gets done by 2026.
And these aren't just, wild guesses. These are strategic signals about where the money and attention are going.
Exactly. The first one comes from Sam Altman at OpenAI, and it's based on what he calls the arbitrage gap.
Arbitrage gap. Okay, break that down for us in the context of, say, an office job.
Well, Altman says GPT 5.2 can already match or beat an expert human on about 71% of knowledge work tasks. That's the capability.
Okay, so the tool is at 71%.
But the gap is that most users are still just using it like a fancy search engine.
So the average person is maybe only tapping into, 30% of that capability?
Precisely. And that difference, that delta, creates a massive opportunity, an arbitrage for anyone who moves fast to integrate the full capabilities now.
It's like you're borrowing future efficiency at today's price.
That's a perfect way to put it. Altman's point is that this gap won't last. As everyone catches up, the advantage shrinks. The real danger isn't integrating too quickly, it's waiting too long.
That makes the personal relevance really clear. Okay, let's turn to Jensen Huang at NVIDIA. He's talking about the rise of digital humans.
Huang is focused on the economics of it. He thinks the market for AI agents, digital nurses, digital accountants, you name it, could be $1 trillion market.
So we're moving from automating simple tasks to automating entire roles.
Yes, but here's the critical part for the human workforce. Companies won't just use these tools. They will hire, onboard, and manage AI agents like their employees.
The software stack becomes a staff roster.
Exactly. So your career growth might not be about operating the tool anymore. It's about becoming the manager of the digital agent team. You design, audit, and direct the AI that does the work.
So becoming an expert in managing these agents is the new high-value skill.
That's the roadmap. And finally, we have Sundar Pichai from Google, who said something pretty humbling, actually.
This one really stood out to me.
He said, I think what a CEO does is maybe one of the easier things for an AI to do one day. Just think about that for a moment.
If the top strategist thinks his job is easier to automate than, say, a plumber's, it means every single white-collar job is under review.
It all comes back to data. A CEO's job is to synthesize vast amounts of information, financials, market trends, and then align resources. That is exactly what these models are designed to do at an incredible scale.
So to tie this all together for you, the message from the people building this stuff is clear. Capabilities are way ahead of adoption.
Which creates that arbitrage gap. So whether you're playing with GLM 4.7 or thinking about how to manage digital accountants, the only real advantage is to start experimenting. Now, the time for just watching is over.
That was the core of the news, but, the ecosystem never stops. So now we're going to shift gears to everything else that happened in AI today. We're going to take this next part at a slightly slower, more measured pace, just to make sure every detail really sinks in.
Starting with a really interesting development in digital identity. A lab called Lemon Slice just closed a $10.5 million seed round.
And they're focused on photo-to-avatar technology. Their whole goal is to get rid of the uncanny valley.
The process they're promising is incredibly simple.
Yeah.
You just upload a photo, pick a voice, and you can start video chatting with your avatar.
And you can see the use cases, right? Customer support, maybe specialized homework help. This investment shows that the market really believes in this idea of a persistent digital presence.
Next up from the evaluation firm METR. They did an analysis of Claude Opus 4.5, and the key finding was its endurance.
It's endurance.
Yeah, the model was able to handle tasks that required nearly 5 hours of continuous, uninterrupted work to complete.
5 hours. That's a huge deal for an LLM.
It is. Because for an AI agent to manage a big project, it needs to maintain its state and context. A 5-hour duration shows these systems are moving way beyond single-turn questions. They're ready for actual project management.
And over in the developer tool space, Cursor acquired a code review platform called Graphite.
And this is more than just adding a feature. It signals that AI dev tools are moving into the entire life cycle of software development.
Not just helping you write a bit of code.
Exactly. They're positioning their AI as the ultimate middle manager, automating that whole tedious process of code review and quality control.
Now, switching over to the structural side of things, Sam Altman at OpenAI posted a really interesting job opening for a head of preparedness.
And what's really telling is the language in the job description. It specifically mentions planning for systems that can self-improve.
That's a serious internal acknowledgement of where this is all heading. They're planning ahead for systems that could potentially alter their own code.
Then there's another big model release from Minimax, which is also backed by Alibaba. They released M2.1.
Right. And while Z.ai was focused on those big general benchmarks, M2.1 is apparently really strong across a bunch of different programming languages.
It's specifically optimized for mobile and web apps, so it's a very practical, useful tool for developers building things for production right now.
And finally, on the absolute cutting edge, we have an analysis from Poetic. They were running GPT 5.2x high on a very tough benchmark.
Yes, the ARC AGI-2 benchmark. For anyone who isn't familiar, ARC tests a model's ability to generalize and solve problems it hasn't seen before. It's basically a test of abstract thinking.
A long-standing weakness for these models.
It has been. But Poetic system running 5.2x high broke the 70% mark, which is about 15% higher than any other model measured before.
That's a massive jump in abstract reasoning. Just another data point showing that we're moving past raw data and into genuine intelligence.
Absolutely. That capacity to reason is what opens the door for all those complex agentic applications we were just talking about.
That was a powerful block of updates. Okay, let's move to our final segment. High-impact trending tools you can use right now to take advantage of that arbitrage gap.
We're always tracking what's getting real traction, and these are the tools that are moving the needle for people today.
First up, the one we just analyzed, GLM-4.7. This is Z.ai's new open source model. The use case is clear. Integrate it for high-level coding projects and benchmark your own processes.
Next is MIMO V2 Flash. That's Xiaomi's open weights reasoning model. Think of it for complex logical problem solving, like in research or legal analysis, where you need to be able to explain the results.
For bigger companies, you should be watching GPT 5.2 Codex. This is OpenAI's top agentic coding model. It's perfect for managing and automating huge software projects from start to finish.
In the creative space, Meta's Sam Audio is trending. It lets you separate sounds using just text. It's a game changer for audio editing. You can just type, isolate the singer's voice, and it does it.
If you need a quick creative boost, check out Regi. It creates content and edits images with AI. The use case is just streamlining that whole workflow, going from an idea to a finished graphic in minutes.
For developers working with complex custom workflows, there's Floyo. It helps you find, launch, and build open-source, comfy UI workflows. It just simplifies managing those really complicated AI processes.
For data work, Slick is getting popular. It cleans your raw data and analyzes it with AI, speeding up that whole messy data prep phase so you can get to the insights faster.
And if privacy is your main concern, there's Okara. It lets you chat privately with every major open-source model instantly without sending your data to third-party APIs.
And finally, for anyone in audio or media, Leveler. It extracts crystal clear speech from any audio file. It's great for transcription, cleaning up old recordings, and just eliminating background noise.
That's a really powerful list. Looking back over everything today, the clear story is that the definition of state-of-the-art is now being fought over globally, and the industry's leaders are all warning us that the nature of high-level work is about to change. Fundamentally.
It's a moment of both huge opportunity and real strategic vulnerability. If the people building the future are saying that 71% of knowledge work is vulnerable to AI and that digital agents will become trillion-dollar employees, well, that's a signal you just can't afford to ignore.
Our thanks for tuning into this deep dive. If you found these insights valuable, please do follow the show and share this with any colleagues or friends who are trying to keep up with the pace of AI.
We appreciate you being with us. Now, here's a final thought to leave you with. If the world's most advanced technical capabilities, like GLM 4.7, are being open-sourced in the East and the West at the same time, does the idea of a single closed frontier AI even make sense anymore? It seems like the frontier is now everywhere all at once.
See you in the